Good morning. Well, I was talking to the dean of a major national institute, and what he told me troubled me, and I was going to talk about the decreasing number of the research in Canada. However, last night I received a phone call from Vancouver, and that disturbed me a lot. So we'll talk of the research next time. But today, let me take up this very human, very relevant issue. The biblical injunction is, whom God has joined together, let no one put asunder. God has united people, and as Islam says, marriages are made in heaven. And as Hinduism says, you are married forever and forever, at least for 7 8 ages. But here, the health authorities in British Columbia have taken up a mission to ensure that the biblical injunction is definitely disregarded and action is taken to ensure that they put asunder the people who have been together, not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not for 10 years, not for 20 years, but even people who have been married for 60 years and 70 years. They separate them. It's extremely unfortunate that you have lived together for a period covering more than half a century. You become accustomed to each other, you cannot even visualize living alone. Especially when you know that the other partner is living. In case of death, you accept it because it's inevitable, because that's beyond your control. But here are the cases which are within human control, but the bureaucratic insensitivity and, shall I say, carelessness, shall I say, inhuman, cold, callous attitude has separated them. For example, there's William and Anita, married for 62 years. Don and Dearborn, both have been married for more than 68 years. And Alfred and Gomez, one is aged 95, the other is aged 87. They have lived their life together. They grew old, as you say, 85 and 87 and 90 and 95. And they could not live by themselves. They do not have the South Asian system that the kids look after their parents if the parents are not independent. They do not have the sports system or the old style of the cultures. So, they go to the assisted living, the children put them in the assisted living. And herein comes a tragedy. The Fraser Health Authority, I'm just taking up one, this is pertinent to all the health authorities, but just to take up one, what they did was, they put husband in one facility and the wife in the other. Now the ridiculous aspect is that this thing is repeated ad nauseum. It is carried to the limit of idiocy. Can you believe that in case all the families, so many families, they say they have united 182 families. Okay, that means 182 were living separately. And then they say they have a waiting list of the families. Now, why cannot they be put in one family, one facility? This is what irritates me, which is of concern to me. Imagine now, a son wants to visit the mom, but the daughter wants to visit the mom and the dad. And One parent is in one facility, said they go there, but they cannot meet the other parent. They have to go another day. So the visits would be divided. The mother and the father, my husband and the wife, who have developed certain affinity, an identity, a closeness, a relationship, are deprived of that. You see, this is an age when your kinship is with your life partner is much more relevant than at any other age. You draw sustenance from each other. The close relationship spread over 60, 70 years is nourishing your soul and nourishing your body. Deprived of one, you hasten towards death, the ultimate end. Maybe that is the goal of the Fraser Authority and the other health authorities. If that is so, then it's a laudable goal, because they are going against two things. One, the religious thing. Second, the psychological thing. And medically, they are doing exactly opposite what medical science is supposed to do to prolong the health. Have they ever thought what it results in? It results in isolation. It results in loneliness. It results in alienation. With a result, it results in depression. And the depression is the worst possible thing that can happen at that age. It is cruel to the people who have been separated, who want to be together and cannot be together because of the inane, inhuman, cold, callous attitude of the authorities. And it's very offensive to the children. They can feel the loneliness of the parents. They are unable to do anything. I can understand the cultural issues, the social issues, the economic issues, that they cannot look after their parents. Especially when they've been brought up in that style of having independent living. And imagine a couple who have lived independently for about 70 years. And then they are put together in assisted living. That by itself is a trauma. Okay, you accept that trauma. But the confusion becomes confounded. The insult is added to the injury when they are told, hey, you will stay in place X and your partner would stay in place Y. And the stupid reason, we cannot put you together because there's another couple which is also being separated, the husband at one place and the wife at the other. If it was not tragic, it would be comic and melodramatic. This only shows two things. A, lack of sensitivity. B, lack of human feeling. C, absolute disregard to the human beings, where human beings are taken not as human beings, not as living beings having emotions, feelings and passions, but as automatons, but as goods. Well, you have got 4 packages. You want us to store it? We'll put one package in A, B, the other package in a distant place, the third is in a distant place. Why? Human beings are not packages. They have to talk to each other. They have to meet each other. A couple who has been communicating with each other for 60 years, 65 years, have developed such an affinity that a partner doesn't say anything and the other partner understands it intuitively. The pain, the misery, the agony, they are shared. And when they are shared, the pain becomes less. The happiness, the mirth, the enjoyment is shared. And when that is shared, it increases much more. Why are these so-called health authorities bent on destroying the happiness and further heighten the pain, the agony. Their end result is only the reduction of happiness and increase of pain. Is that the role of a welfare government? Is that the role that the health authorities should be aiming at? Is that assisted living? Or is that making human beings as and taking them as inhuman packages which have been thrown at will at one dunghill or the other dunghill? Living in an assisted condition, in an assisted place, is a trauma by itself. You have developed roots in one place, you are cut away from that, you go to a new environment, and the older you grow, the more difficult it is for you to adjust to the changed circumstances. So that is one trauma. You are away from your kids who can visit you during the hours prescribed. That's a second trauma. And the biggest is when your partner in life is asked to stay at a different place. You turn your side wanting to touch the hand of your partner and you don't find it. You get up as per your routine and the breath that would come to you, the rustle of the gown that would wake you up, they are not there. Even the fights, even the quarrels between the partners, they have a charm of their own. Because they show the intimacy. They show the human warmth. They show the poignancy of partnership that has covered many stages. Stages of happiness, of pain, of common achieved goals and unachieved goals, of the dreams dreamt together and the realization of those dreams. And when you put these couples separately, you are not only separating two individuals, you are separating two human beings who have a history. And as Quran says, you kill one person, you kill the whole universe. Right? Every man is becoming an island into himself. There's enough loneliness in this world. And the health authorities, assisted living, where the families are separated, the couples are separated, are aiding and assisting in that process of making people islands. And those islands are such islands of darkness, the labyrinthian caverns of pain and misery. My question to the political leaders and to the mandarins of the health ministry is, A, how would they like to be placed in such a situation? Have they ever tried to visualize and put themselves in the shoes of these people? The day of the reckoning is not far off. It would be at hand. But by then it will be too late. And the new people who replace them would continue the same drama of injustice, inequity, inhuman treatment of this vulnerable section of society. Let's not forget that the people who are put in the assisted living are the people who cannot look after themselves, are the people who are the most vulnerable, are the people who need to be handled with care and love and affection. And you take away from them that partner who has given them love, affection, devotion, dedication for 60, 70 years, is the worst possible thing that you can do. This is like a solitary confinement in a high security prison. Think as human beings. Is that justified and should it continue? And if it does not, is it not your human duty to ask your MPs and your legislators to pass an omnibus law covering the whole of Canada, that in assisted living it shall be obligatory and mandatory, it shall be compulsory that the couples are kept together whatever the cost be. If the government really wants to do it, it's not difficult. It's just a matter of rehashing the people. If 180 families are living separately, it's not difficult to bring them together. And why they're lonely people, they're single people already living, move them to those places and shift them. Why increase the pain and the trauma of the people who are already traumatized? Why take away the support that they need for each other? This would make the recipients a bit more happy. But every iota of happiness at that stage of life is like conquering Mount Everest. Every second of pleasure, every sense of touch, every sense of proper communication which the other partner can comprehend, understand, appreciate, and respond to is worth many years of life. And these health authorities are bent on taking away those moments of happiness, those moments of bliss. Are they not criminals? No, they are inhuman beings who lack the sense and who lack the judgment. They are automatons and they consider human beings to be robots. Lord, what's happening to these people? Deprived of their humanity, deprived of their basic human skills, they are called Homo sapiens, the sage people, the intelligent people. Save me from these Homo sapiens. Make them human or destroy them. There is no second option. On this somber note, I wish you a great day. Bye.